So you just bought your first bass guitar and you've spent more time on YouTube than playing and getting familiar and comfortable with the bass. We're going to change that today. Grab your bass and follow along with me. There's going to be some interactive stuff I want you to do alongside with me, okay? And I'm going to give you some homework. So let's go. Before we get into the kind of meat of this video, what I want you to do is I want you to tune up with me. Okay? It's very important that we don't play in it with an instrument that's out of tune. I don't want you to worry about tuning the bass to itself, but I want you to tune up with me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the G string. At this moment, I don't care how you produce sound out of that G string. I just want you to focus on the G string, that string right there, right? On this instrument, when we talk about high and low, we're talking about pitch. We're not talking about physical location. So even though it is closest to the ground, it is highest in pitch. So let me explain it to you first, and then I want you to play along with me. Let me explain it first. When I play that string, your G string should sound exactly like mine. And I'm going to let you discover whether you need to tighten or loosen the string. Let's talk about tightening and loosening the string. I've been playing bass for a few decades now, and I think maybe once I broke a string in the process of tuning. You will know when it'll be so obvious when that string is too tight, right? So when I play this string, your note should sound exactly like mine. If you hear a vibration like wah, 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 right? You're out of tune. The slower that vibration gets, the closer you are in tune. So I'm going to count 1, 2, ready, go, and then I'm going to play that string, okay? And I want you to play that string along with me. You want to make sure that you are somehow muting the rest of the strings because we're only going to focus on the G string. The machine head, the tuner, is going to be the one, if you're playing a 4-string bass, is going to be one furthest away, okay? And you're going to tighten or loosen that string accordingly so that your strings sound exactly like mine. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. We're going to do that same thing with the G string. It has been my experience that the more time you put into just dealing with the instrument, interfacing with the instrument, touching the instrument, you're going to discover more things. You're going to discover different ways of muting and things like that. Because of what I really want to cover in this video, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. So right now, we're going to focus on the D string. 1, 2, ready, D. We're going to do the same thing with the next 2 strings, starting with the A string. That's going to be the second string. So there was the machine head for the G string. This was the machine head for the D string. You probably already know that. Here's A and here's E. Okay? You're going to tighten or loosen accordingly. You're going to know if that string is too tight. It's going to be so obvious that it's too tight, right? That you'll have to turn it one way to loosen it, one way to, you know what I'm saying. So just be mindful of that. Let's tune the A string. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's do the same thing with the E string. I'm going to mute the A, the D, and the G string and only play the E string. 1, 2, ready, go. Cool, so those strings should be in tune. Now we can go on and get into the rest of the video. Before we move on, this is what I want you to understand. If you were to go to a music store or a big box music store anywhere to get a private lesson and you were in the same position, this lesson would cost you between $30 and $60. Now, you know, times have changed, but, you know, YouTube has kind of, you know, put a real hit on the private teaching industry. So this is what I want you to do. There's a link where you can show a little love. You can buy me a coffee. You can, of course, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. All those things help to keep content like this going and creators like myself creating and keeping the lights on so that they can create. I'm not begging, I'm having you keep that in mind. If you were to go to a private teacher and your very first lesson, you are going to spend some money on that. Okay, so drop a couple dollars in the tip bucket. Now, having said all that, let's talk about the very least that you need to know about this instrument and the makeup of this instrument. The main parts, you have the body and the neck, right? You got the body, the neck. Okay, those are our main things. We've got tuning keys, also known as machine heads. Obviously, that's where you're going to tune the bass. You don't need to worry about the mathematics and all that stuff, but these are the pickups that just amplify the sound. Tone controls, they're going to vary from bass to bass. They control your volume and, to some degree, your tone. Let's talk about sitting and standing. So right now, I'm wearing a strap, and my strap is doing what it's supposed to do, right? It's keeping the bass relatively in place. The curve of that bass is sitting over the leg where my plucking hand is. And I'm saying that way because you may be left-handed and it may be reversed. So the curve of the bass is on my leg and the strap is doing its thing. Now check this out. You want your strap height set so that your bass is relatively in the same position when you're standing up or sitting down. So watch this. Look, Ma, no hands. I'm standing up and the bass is staying. I'm about to fall out of my chair, but the bass is staying where it is. Okay? So that's the first principle that I want you to understand about the strap and strap height. Now, you see where my forearm is? I'm just relaxed and my forearm is, you're just chilling. Look at that, just chilling. Now, check this out. If I drop my arm down like this, I've said this in other videos, but it bears repeating. If I lift my arm up like that, boom, my hand is going to naturally fall into a comfortable playing position. Okay, the instrument, you know, this whole idea of an instrument being an extension of a person, you know, Jimi Hendrix played his guitar like it was an extension of his body. That's not unique to Jimi Hendrix. Any instrumentalist, your instrument should become an extension of your body, right? That's you know, not just some inanimate object. So let's talk about this fretting hand. I'm not going to get deep into the fretting hand right now, but what I do want you to do is watch this. That exercise, I'm holding this like I was holding a stick or a bat. But when I say I'm holding it, I'm only holding it. I'm not gripping it. I'm just holding it. Okay? So remember this. Same thing with this. Just can I drop my arm down naturally and just grab a hold of the instrument, right? Now, this contact point, and the strap, when I stand up, I know you can't see the whole bass right now, but when I stand up, that bass is going to be in the same position every time. And that's one of the things I really want you to practice. It may seem silly, but I want you to practice being comfortable just having the instrument in your hand. You know, when I was a kid, I've been playing a long time, but when I was a kid, man, I just felt good having the instrument in my hand. And so I want you to feel good having the instrument in your hands. Okay? Now, let me show you something else. The next step of this fretting hand. So I'm holding it like this, but watch what I do. I'm gonna just drop my hand down. I'm holding it. See where my thumb is? Watch this. And I know my knuckles are ashy. Don't worry about it. That's not the point. Check this out. Holding it. Now watch this. Ooh, look at that. My thumb is gonna fall into or around the center of that bass. Now, as I'm playing, things will change, but this is that starting point. Now, what I want you to notice about this, look at that space, right? Typically, 9 out of 10 times, we don't want that space to be closed. So I drop my hand, I have a space. How big that space is going to depend. So practice with me. See that? I want you to spend some time just getting comfortable with that. Let's look at what the front side of that looks like. So when I do that motion, holding, drop my thumb. Look at my fingers. My fingers naturally get flat. Flat, right? Okay? So we'll talk about fretting later on, but this is the motion that I want you to get comfortable with. Okay? Standing, sitting, getting comfortable with the instrument in your hands, and getting into a comfortable playing position. Now, I want to talk about the first 4 frets. I want to talk about each open string and the first 1, 2, 4 frets. Okay? I'm going to review the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Those are the natural notes. In between each of those notes is a whole step, with the exception of B and C and E and F, right? That's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. The rest of your musical life, you're going to remember that. And whenever you hear the term interval, we're only talking about the space between 2 notes. Now that I've said that, that note is E. That open string, that lowest string is the note E. Now remember what I said, that there was a half step between E and F and B and C? But everything else, there's a whole step. So what's the note called in the whole step? For this thing that we're going to do right now, you're not going to use one finger. You're going to use 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and your 4th finger is what you're going to use. You're going to use your first finger, your second finger, and your 4th finger. That ring finger is going to come down as a support for the pinky. Okay? Watch this. E, F. There's that half step. F sharp, G. Check this out. I'm playing, everywhere I play, I'm playing closest to that fret. It almost looks like I'm right on top of the fret, not in the middle. You don't have to play with me just yet. E, F, F sharp. What would come after F and F sharp? Well, G. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that hand like one unit and play G sharp. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. 5 notes, right? 1, play with me. 2, ready, and E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Again, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Again, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. This is why I had you tune, okay? Again, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the next string. Listen, if this is day 1, and this is the lesson that you're watching, your technique is not gonna be great. It's not, right? And that's okay. We want to get sound. My thumb is going to go right there on that E string. My thumb is going to mute that E string because I'm going to play the A string. Okay? Just watch me first. A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Ooh, look at that. Let's do it again. A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it together now. 1, 2, ready, and A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Let's do it again. A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Let's do it one more time. 4, A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Let's do that, why not, with the D string. Now, I want you to peep something here real quick. My thumb has now moved to the A string. See where my thumb is on the A string? And guess what? My thumb is also muting just naturally. It's not something I'm overthinking. It's not something I'm putting a whole ton of thought into. My thumb is resting against that E string. So we're going to play the D string now. I'll do it first to show you, and then we can play it together. So D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. Okay, let's play it together. And you can always rewind this video and come back to it, right? 1, 2, ready, and D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. Let's do it again, and D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. One more time. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. Notice how I'm calling the names out, the note names out, right? Because the more you say them, the more you get familiar with them. Just like meeting a new friend. You may not remember their name right off the bat, but if you say it, if you are conscious and you make an effort to say it, you'll remember it. We're going to do the same thing with the G string. Now, a lot of times, I will use what's called a floating thumb technique. So if my thumb were here, and I can mute the D string by way of a rest stroke, but that A string would still ring. So sometimes my thumb will be like this, sometimes it'll be like this. But now I'm gonna keep my thumb on the A string. We're gonna play G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Let's do that again. Well, actually, let me count it in and you do it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G sharp, A, B flat. I'm sorry, A sharp, B. Let's do that one more time. I confuse you. G, G sharp, A sharp, B. I lost my train of thought. One more time, or 2 more times. G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Let's do it one more time. 3, 4. G, G sharp, A sharp, B. 2, 3, 4. All right, so now remember that the purpose of this lesson was to get you comfortable with the bass, get comfortable knowing the sections of the areas of the instrument, how to get some basic some basic posture things under control, and to get familiar with those first 4 frets. It is not comprehensive. It's not meant to be. It's meant to get you comfortable with the instrument right now. But here's some homework that I want you to do. I want you to really think about why you picked up the instrument. I want you to think about what genre of music inspired you to pick up the bass. What bass player inspired you to pick up the bass? Where will the bass fit into your life? These are things that I really, really want you to think about. I want you to take some time and write this down. Why am I asking you to do that? Because that is going to keep you motivated when times get tough. They will get tough. It will get frustrating. It will be rewarding. It will also be frustrating. So it will also guide you in what things you are looking for on the internet. The internet is a wild, wonderful place, and there's a lot of information out there. So if you are interested in playing Beatles tunes, right? But everything that you find, or the things that the algorithm feeds you first, are showing you, gospel licks and things like that. There's nothing wrong with those things, but if that's not in alignment with what you want to do, you're going to get frustrated, right? If you are led to believe that you need to know all of this stuff, which may be valuable, but will it be relevant to what you want to do right now? Let me say that again. It may be valuable, but will it be relevant to what you want to do right now? Keep that in mind. I want you to write those things down, paste them somewhere in the space where you practice or where you intend to practice, and also leave them in the comments below. I want to know. I want to know what those things are, okay? Buy your boy a cup of coffee. I hope to see you in the next video where we are going to expand on this journey.